Good day, everybody. This is Michael Winiger, CEO of Essante Organics. And today we're going to find out the difference between powders and fresh fruits and vegetables, produce, right? And what you buy at the grocery store, guess what? They're not fresh. It was picked up right, so when they picked it unripe, it sat for about a week or two. It was put onto a truck, shipped to a warehouse, put onto another truck, shipped to the grocery store. It sat there for a few days, right? You then purchased it, and it sits in our refrigerator for several days. This is not the way it's supposed to be. In nature, you're supposed to go up to a tree or a bush, pick it or pluck it, and eat it right away. But we don't do that, right? We're in the modern world. So we trust that the food that we buy at the grocery store is fresh. But it's not. And here's why. The second that you pick something, the exact second you pull it out of the ground or off the tree or off the bush, you disconnect that from its life support system, and now it's on its own and it starts to die. It's like if you're being choked from air, right? Within minutes, 15 minutes, you're dead. Same thing with the plant. It's a living plant, right? And within 45 minutes, half the vitamins of picking it. After you pick it, within 45 minutes, half of the vitamins are gone, and that's called oxidation, right? Now this is extremely vital, and this is what this whole video is about. Moisture. Moisture is an oxidant. Water and moisture oxidizes. Oxidation breaks things down. So it actually can recycle itself. So if you take an orange, right, and you put this on your counter in the kitchen for a week, it's going to get moldy. And it's going to break down right before your eyes. And that's oxidation, right? It's mold. It decays. I mean, you can't eat it anymore. Now, if you take the same orange and you put it out in the desert, you come here to Arizona and you put this orange in the desert sun and you let it bake, guess what? You can come back a year later, eat it. Now it'd be dry, but you could eat it because it's a dehydrated orange. It's still viable. You know, they have found seeds from different plants 3,000 years ago, like in Egypt, right? And they planted them and they still grew. And I guess that's what, it's because of the life force that was inside of them, right? Because it's dry. And that's the difference. Moisture breaks things down, just like any ship that actually sinks, right? It goes down and it then starts to rust, right? Like the whole Titanic story. It went down and nothing was, even the ship started decaying, although it's still there's a hunk of metal, but everything inside decayed because of the moisture, including the bodies and everything. There's nothing there, right? But in a desert, if something would crash, or if you put a car and you put it out in the desert, it's there forever. Like here in the desert of Arizona, we have a place here in Arizona that actually stores airplanes for airlines that aren't being used. And these airplanes are as new as the day that they put them there because it's dry, because they are dry, right? And the same thing with plants. So the secret is if you were to take a plant and immediately take it from a tree or a bush that's in nature, right? And immediately dehydrate it, you're locking in all that nutrition. And get this, herbal nutrition, whole food plant nutrition immediately, when it's dried, will last 5 to 10 years. That's 1,000 times better than a ton of synthetic stuff. So, for example, synthetic vitamin C starts to break down very quickly and becomes oxalic acid, right? And so if you're buying synthetic vitamin C at the store, there's a lot of that in there. But the vitamin C and nutrition from whole foods and plants will last 5 to 10 years. Now, let's take, for example, an orange. Some labs have tested store oranges and found that they contained no vitamin C in them at all. Now, a typical orange in its healthy state, pick it, eat it immediately. You're talking 150 milligrams of vitamin C per 100 grams. Fresh powder, right? We can get that into these types of products. And this here has started oxidizing the very second, same with this, it started oxidizing the very second, the minute that you picked it, that it was plucked from the tree or the ground, unripe. But this was picked ripe in the most nutritious state, dried immediately, and locked into a powder. There is no comparison between when you no heat dehydrate something and put it into a powdered form than something that we go pick up at the store. Now, of course, you should be eating fresh fruits and vegetables. I'm not saying you should eat powders all the time, but you're getting less than half the nutrition in the grocery store stuff. So you need to fill all those gaps. Otherwise, you're gonna get deficiencies, right? Even if you eat organic fruits and vegetables all the time, you're still going to run into deficiencies and run into some health problems at some times. So you have to fill in those gaps. And those gaps are filled by wild plants, organic plants that are powdered. Now that is the difference, right? And we use organic sources, wild crafted, which means that they're wild plants, right? They're not farmed, so nothing is hitting them. And in a wild crafted state, the root will actually grow between 100 to 200 feet into the ground. So you're pulling all those nutrients, right? So, because the stuff that has been grown in soil that has been depleted for the last 100 years, there's not even no more magnesium in the soil. So that's one of 300 things that you need that's lacking here. So when we talk about organic and well-crafted ingredients that is grown in soil that is, way out there in the middle of nowhere, no civilization, wild plants, again, have the roots that grow between 150 and 200 feet deep, way down in the ground, far more deeper than these things. And, look at this. Look how limp this stuff is, right? And when you got this in your hands, it's like, it's kind of a little bit mushy, right? And, when you take stuff that, I don't want to eat things that are limp and mushy and things like that. It's kind of lifeless, right? The wild plants is, when plants are actually grown in the wild and have those deep roots, they don't need to be watered every single day because of the depth of the root. So it's in the ground and it's pulling up the vitamins, the minerals, the stanols, the sterols, the glycosides, the oils, the resins. I mean, you name it, it's all in here. And it makes it like, it makes these, all our powders here at Essante Organics, the shakes and the greens and the reds and even the bee tabs from the bees, right? From the honeybees. There's no other product like it. I mean, it makes it so powerful. It's 100 times more powerful than anything you're going to ever buy at the grocery store. And when they're at full peak and when they're ripe, this is what happens here. When the plants and the fruits and the vegetation, when it's ripe, when it's at its peak, right? Bam, we pick them. Then they're dried immediately that same day, and then we powder them and we mix the formula, and you get it within 2 weeks of the plants actually being in nature. And that's absolutely huge compared to something like this, right? There's no other product that is going to be that fresh, that fast. It's not going to happen. And so that's why I believe that the Essante Organics product line is so amazing, because I have to share it with you. I mean, this is important information, and you should want to share all this with the world. We're watching people that is using these products here that are turning their lives around. The testimonies are just unbelievable. And remember the size of the nutritional serving in these particular products, right? We're talking in the greens and in the super reds, the super fruits, and in all the greens, they're alkalizing, right? They carry a 750 megahertz negative ionic charge. We're positive human beings. We're living, breathing people, right? And because of that, we're positive. Once you can get something in such a powdered form like that and put a negative charge on it, bam, it assimilates immediately when it hits your olfactory system. I'm telling you, this is unbelievable absorption. And one scoop of these, or three capsules, is 5.5 pounds of live, organic, alkaline, whole food nutrition. Who's going to eat 5 pounds here? You can't. You're not going to. And if you take just 3 servings a day, 17 pounds, I'll tell you what, for 50 cents a serving, you're going to spend way more at a store and get stuff that it doesn't even have hardly half the nutrition to it, right? Which means you're getting this much. You got to realize that when you're developing this, you're getting this much powder, right, from this many plants, right? So you're getting serious concentrated. You're getting a serious concentration of power into a tiny little space, and then you mix all these medicinal plants together, and you get this amazing power. So that's what it's all about. I mean, it's about giving you serious, concentrated power, right? And even if you have a garden, you're only growing half dozen things, maybe a dozen things in your garden. So when you start taking the greens and the reds and all the power from the Essante Organics products, I mean, you really feel the difference. I personally don't feel any different than I was in my 20s. But again, you see, you have to fill in the gaps. I mean, this is the modern world. We don't go in the woods anymore and go out there and pick from the tree, or pull things off the bush or off the branches and eat them like we're supposed to. So this is what we need to do. And you can't get anything any better. The organic and well-crafted power from organic and well-crafted plants. And I'm saying, don't stop eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. you want to keep eating them. Just realize that you're only getting half of what you think you're getting. So, it's an amazing life, when you know that you're actually beating the system, right? And the system is modern society. I mean, we have computers, we have cars, we have different things out there, and toxicity all around us. And you're getting food that is a lot of times pretty much worthless, and people don't chew their food well enough either, right? And so you have to use things like blenders and powders, to make a difference, and unless you're actually in the woods and you're munching on branches and trees, which I doubt most of you are doing. So that's why we're here creating this 100% chemical-free lifestyle, so you can be just as vital in the modern world. So stick around, send your friends to Essante Organics, and show them this video. I mean, this is a pretty good clip, right? And let's go out there and really, really make a difference in the world. And until then, God bless you. God bless your families, your businesses, and remember, Essante Organics, a company with a heart, a company with a soul, and a company with a purpose-driven mission. A company for everybody. Essante Organics, the organic living company. And we'll see you real soon. Y'all have a great day.